the amount of deforestation and fur poaching, tigers already listed as an endangered species run the risk of being completely extinct. Within 2 decades, retired veterinarian Dr. Jim Galvin dedicates his time to rescuing these tigers through his nonprofit organization, Midwest Big Cat Care. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Excuse me.
Thank you for inviting me.
So first, when I think of people, trying to help endangered species, they either donate to zoos or they donate to different organizations. You've kind of gone over and beyond with what you're doing. Talk a little bit about your project.
I was encouraged by 2 zoo veterinarians to pursue this because a lot of tigers in private hands are not getting the care they really need, and that's been my effort. I'm also hearing conflicting reports as to whether there's protecting enough tigers in the zoos themselves. I'm hearing different reports on that. But I do feel that tigers are gone in the wild in probably 10 years, more than 20, more likely than 20.
And talk about why private owners such as you need funding and help.
With what's happened with the Zanesville disaster and the resulting legislation, a lot of these owners are not going to be able to meet the new standards. And my concern is, where are they going with these cats? The sanctuaries I'm aware of are overflowing. You don't just throw up a cage and put a cat in it. If you're going to do it right, it's going to cost some money. And I've tried to encourage the legislature to consider helping someone like me support more cats. I would hope to build a complete sanctuary, but I think the legislation is probably going to prevent me, my startup, from being that big a facility. But these cats need help, and I don't know where it's coming from.
You mentioned costs. What kind of costs are we talking about here?
If you're going to build something decent, I've probably put $40,000 to house 4 cats, to do a nice job. These are nice big pens, and they're a lot bigger than some zoos I've seen. I'm going to do it right, or I won't do it. But it is not a cheap investment. The food, fortunately, has been available to me at no cost. That hasn't been a problem. But the fencing alone is a big expense.
Okay, and talk a little bit about your long-term goals for this project of yours.
It was my intention to set up a model sanctuary and eventually turn that over to a zoo or zoos and use it as a breeding facility, because the 2 zoo veterinarians that have encouraged me to pursue this and told me that they don't think the zoos are protecting enough numbers. With what's happening with the legislation, I don't know if that's going to come to pass or not. But I do intend to take a few more and keep them as a rescue center if I can't do a full sanctuary.
Okay, and lastly, just tell us, how can people help?
Volunteers are certainly a big help to me, and not just care for the cats, but also for the 120 acres that I have. Money is a big problem. I've used about as much of my retirement fund as I can possibly do at this point, so I'm going to have to start raising money through volunteers or efforts to do that. I don't know that the state legislature is going to come through with anything at all. I think they're just going to pass a whole lot of restrictions, and everybody else is going to have to deal with it.
Okay. All right. Well, Dr. Galvin, thank you so much for being here tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.